Well, is the condo market here on Oahu starting gaining a little steam? That's all we've been talking about the last several months, the doom and gloom of the condo market here on Oahu with crazy inventory increases. However, we're going to dive into that in a little bit. First off, my name is David Buck. I'm a full-time real estate broker here on Oahu with Harcourts Island Real Estate. And today we're going to talk about the market stats for July of 2025. And first off, we're going to dive into the single family homes. And there we saw home sales drop 7.4% from a year ago in July of 2024. A year ago, there were 269 home sales, and there was 20 less this past month at 249. That's once again a 7.4% decrease. And then meanwhile, the median home price on Oahu also went down 5.7%. A year ago is at $1,140,000. And this past month is at $1,075,000. It's also taking single family homes a little bit longer to sell. Median days on market are up 33%, going from 15 days to 20 days. And meanwhile, inventory is increasing with 722 homes on the market last year, and now it's up 18% to 852. What does that mean? Well, I talked about this literally firsthand with some buyers in the car, two different buyers this past week, in that even though inventory here is up 18% from a year ago at 852 homes, let's take a rear view, look in the mirror back to the year 2007 before the financial crisis. I was sitting in an office going over the market stats with my broker at the time, and they were talking about how we're at historic lows for having 800 homes in the market. And that was back in the year 2007. And fast forward 18 years to today, and we're right around that same point. It's just that we had a crazy market just 3 years ago during COVID. So inventory got really low. But think about all the homes that have been built on Oahu in the last 18 years. There's been thousands of homes that have been built since 2007. So overall, inventory for single family homes remains very low. And it's also still going to be a seller's market for homes in that months of remaining inventory is well under that 6 month threshold. We're at 3.7 months, but just a year ago, we're at 3.2 months. So it's weighing a little bit more in buyers' favor for single family homes. Okay, before we jump into condos, I want to talk about why the median home price here on Oahu is down 5.7%. I've got an opinion on that. I'm going to throw a chart up on the screen here. And what you'll see basically is the bulk of the single family home sales that have been taking place are anywhere between 800 to 900,000 saw the majority, and then 900,000 to just under a million. That's where we saw another large chunk of the sales taking place. And if we go over to the right side of this bar graph, you'll see that home sales over $3 million have actually chopped down in half from a year ago. There were 14 transactions north of 3 million in July of last year, and we only saw 7 this past month. So yeah, that's what's going on in the single family home market here. More trades taking place at a more affordable price point this past month. And then now let's jump into the condos. Okay, as far as condo sales go, they're literally dead flat. There was not one change from condo sales a year ago. A year ago, we saw 389 condo sales on Oahu, and we had the exact same number of 389. Go figure this past month. But meanwhile, that median condo price took a dip of 3.7% from a year ago. A year ago, we're at 509,000, and this past month, we're at 490,000. And we also saw days on market increase for condos. They're up 66%, going from 30 days a year ago to 50 days. So it's still continuing that trend of a buyer's market. It's just not as crazy, perhaps, as the last few months, which we're going to dive into here in a second, because active inventory is up 31.7%, which is great for home buyers. However, months of remaining inventory, it's still technically a buyer's market at 6.8 months of inventory. However, I'm going to put this chart up that we talked about a few months back, and it goes to show a split months of remaining inventory between the home inventory and the condo inventory. And we flash back to January of 2024 when we started having the crisis for having homeowners insurance, where at the time it came out, where over 300 buildings on the island were underinsured. And in my opinion, that's what started this process of seeing this influx of inventory and the slowdown in the condo market. Now, on a silver lining, you'll notice on that same chart I've got up here, a few months ago, the months of remaining inventory were at 7.1. Now it's kind of tapered off and trended down a little bit at that 6.8. So that's a little bit of silver lining for condo sellers, but it's a great opportunity for buyers right now. And similar to the single family homes, I'm going to throw up a bar graph to just kind of give you an idea of where all those deals are taking place, because I mentioned the median price was 490,000. The bulk of those condo deals are taking place between 300 to 399, and then also 400 to 500,000. So that's like the sweet spot of the majority of the condo sales. And contrary to the single family home market, the condo sales were actually up quite a bit on the higher end. And rather than measuring at 3 million and above, they're measuring at 2 million and above. And a year ago, there were only 5 transactions. And this past month, it more than doubled to 11 transactions of condo sales north of 2 million. So it's quite a different story between the high end of the homes and condos. So that's a summary for July of 2025. And as we talk about every month, every segment of the market's different. To find out what's going on in your particular area where you're either looking to buy or sell, we're glad to help. I can be reached at 808-371-3509. Mahalo and have a great day.